Shalom, family. I want to respond to a post. I got my Cowboys gear on. We got uh, we have a bye week, but I want to respond to my cousin, my wife's cousin, who's my cousin, Ben, and all the brothers. Let me come around here so I can have some light. All the brothers. I'm at my property here. I'm outside. And I want to respond to all the brothers. Let me stop doing the Spike Lee that have um, this this hate-filled doctrine that Esau's the white man, just to use the Bible as a tool to hate the white people. And the point I want to say is that if you search far enough in your tree, you just might find out you got a white paternal grandfather, great grandfather somewhere in your tree. And I know a lot of brothers, they don't believe in ancestry DNA. Not because it's not true, because they are afraid what they just might find if they do their ancestry DNA. They just might find that there's a Gentile who they call Esau in their tree. So if Esau is damned to be destroyed, and if you are who your father is, I had this conversation with another brother, family member, and he said, "Well, I have faith to believe that there is none." Well, how would you know? So if Esau's a white man and can't be saved, and you happen to have a father, let's say hypothetically, 4 generations back, the massa raped or had a son with your paternal fourth great grandmother. So now through the 4 generations, you could actually hide that European appearance. So just say she had a son, right? And then the son got married to an Israelite black woman and continued his family. And through the 4 generations or five, however long it might be, they lost that Eurocentric appearance. The fact of the matter is, this is what a lot of these brothers don't want. They don't want to do DNA research. You are a descendant of that father who happened to be a descendant of a mother who was raped by a so-called white man. And that's in your genealogy. So I just wanted to just share that from a standpoint of of history as far as to genealogy. Okay. Now, from a scriptural standpoint, Esau married the Canaanites. If you go to Genesis chapter, I think it's 36, Esau married 2 Canaanite women. They were Hamite descendants. And then also, he took a wife of one of the sons of Ishmael. And he had descendants from them. So for those that are ascribed to Esau the white man, my question to you would be, you asked me where the white man come from. My question to you would be, when did Esau become white? And when did his descendants become white if he actually married black African Canaanite women and Ishmaelites who were Egyptians, because Hagar was an Egyptian? My question to you would be, when did Esau become white? When did his descendants become white if he married African people, right? So that's just my point, my question to you. All right. And now, anybody wanted to delve into the scriptures? And when I say scriptures, I'm talking specifically about Tanakh, right? We have been taught to believe that the scriptures is the second half, what we call the New Testament. Mm-mm. That's not the scriptures. Those are the writings of the apostles, right? Or the disciples of the Messiah, but that's not scripture. Scripture is the writings that the Most High, which is the law, the prophets, and the Psalms. That's the scriptures. That's what the Israelites of that day understood or overstood what the scriptures was. That the scriptures is the Torah, which we call the law, the prophets, Yechezkel, Ezekiel, Yoshiyahu, Isaiah, uh, um, Yechezkel. Did I say Ezekiel? Yechezkel, Yoshiyahu, Yeremiyahu, right? Uh, Habakkuk, Malachiyahu, uh, Zephaniah, Zechariah, Yahu, all the prophets. That's Torah. That is scriptures. The second half of the book that we follow is, what was that? A bird that just flew by me? I saw that in my camera. The second half of the book is not scriptures. They're inspired writings, and everything has to go back to Torah. So if it's not confirmed in Torah, then we need to look deeper. Whenever we read something that comes from Paul, Peter, James, John, and that's their Hellenized substituted names. And you got Shaul, Shimon, Kepha, Yaakov, which is James, and the list goes on and on. But whenever you read something from the apostles knew Torah, unlike a lot of people who want to try to teach the teachings of Paul. But they have no soundness when it comes to Torah, right? So I just wanted to just share that. I'm going to post this in the forum. Anybody want to debate? I'm open. All the IUIC camp guys that believe that doctrine that Daniel teaches, you want to debate? We can debate. We can set it up online, and we'll debate that doctrine. Everything that you believe should come from Torah. If it's not in Torah, throw it out. If it's a philosophy, Esau the white man, that's not found in Torah. Torah actually tells you not to abhor an Edomite. Whoever Esau is, whoever you believe him to be, Torah, if you are an Israelite that follows Torah, Torah tells you do not hate an Edomite, whoever he might be. Do not hate an Egyptian, right? And Torah also says that an Edomite can come into the congregation. I think it's after the third or fourth generation. Don't quote me, but it says it's either the third or the fourth generation that Edomite can come into the temple or to the house of Yah to be a part of the covenant of Yasharal. It's actually the covenant of Yah with humanity. And I'm going to leave this last piece here. Most Israelites have a religion and not a covenant. Because when you overstand the covenant, you overstand that only because of our forefather Abraham can we Israelites be a part of the covenant, because the promise wasn't made to Yaakov. It was made to Abraham. And when Abraham was given the covenant, it was clear to him that anybody that wasn't of his seed, that wasn't from his loins, that wasn't a DNA descendant of Abraham, could be a part of the covenant, right? So why would Isaac or Isaac discriminate? If he overstood the covenant to his father, Abraham wasn't about the ethnic descendant of Abraham only, but anybody that Abraham brought under the covenant of circumcision. That's what it really boils down to. So if you stuck on it's the Israelite covenant, then you've lost the whole picture. It's not the Israelite covenant. It's the Abraham covenant. And when you get that All this nonsense about Esau, white man can't be saved, no other people can be saved, you lose that. I'm going to put you on a on a task, and the task I'm going to put you on is this: go to the covenant that the Most High made with Abraham, and you will find in there that the Most High told Abraham that any person that is not of his seed, for him to circumcise them, that they don't have to be his biological son, but they can be a part of the covenant. And when you get that on your belt, all this foolishness and nonsense about Israel, nobody else can be saved but Israel, you'll throw that out the window because you realize it's not an Israelite covenant. It's an Abraham covenant. And that's all I got. Shalom.